Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, so we left it off here. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to add materials to this to objects, and the way you go about doing that is going to the Material Manager, which is located here in the top right-hand corner where my cursor is. Go ahead and click that, and next you're going to hit the X or the plus button, and down to materials and go for a material option here. So if you hit that, you're going to get RS material. That stands for Redshift material. And the way you're going to make sure that you are in Redshift is to basically go to the render menu. If you don't see that, if you go to the render menu, go down to render settings and make sure that your renderer is set to Redshift. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. Now, once you do that, that means you've told the CINEMA4D that your main renderer is going to be Redshift. Now, I've got many others here, so don't get confused. You might just only have standard physical and viewport renderer, but yeah, just make sure you highlight the Redshift one and just click that. And now, as you go ahead and add materials, you have RS material 1, 2, and 3, and so forth. So let's go ahead and click the first one. Now on the right hand side, straight away in the attributes area, you can see some basic components of the object or the material that you've selected. Now you can do a lot here, or if you go ahead and double click, you're going to see the node editor, which gives you a different window from where you can start working on your materials. So if you click the output, now here you can say, okay, you can change various things, very similar to what you just saw. So if I just move this to the side, so you can see that it's almost a one-to-one of what you see here in the node editor view. So I'm just going to move this here. So if I go here, now you can see everything that you can see here as well. Okay, so you can manipulate it using the node editor, which we will be doing into some level of sophistication a little bit later on, but I'm just going to close this for now, so I don't want to confuse you all. So we're just going to use this one here for the time being. Now what I can do is I have some presets. I can sort of say, okay, well look, I want this to be copper, right? And now you're going to get a copper material. So you can use some presets and adjust the presets, and what it does is just basically changes a lot of these options down the bottom to give you that look. Okay, and now how do I apply this material to the object? Let's apply this material to the sphere. Notice that the sphere is here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this RS material, left mouse button, and drag it over the sphere word. Now you're going to see this down arrow. That means it's going to be applied to the sphere. So if I let go, now it appears here on the right hand side. That means that this material is applied to that sphere. Notice how the sphere changes color as well. So I'm going to do the same, but this time I'm going to go to the other material, and I'm going to add, say, I'm not going to actually add any presets. I'm just going to change it myself. So if I go to diffuse and I want this to be, say, a red color, and now what I can do is I can grab this material and apply it to the object immediately, as so, and now I can start changing the settings here, and you'll start changing it here as well at the same time. So what I can do is I'll go back to my material, and I'm going to increase the roughness, and I'm going to decrease the reflection, so that when you go to weight, that and you change it, that's how you decrease or increase the reflection. So I'm going to decrease the reflection because I don't want it to be super shiny, and I'm going to increase the roughness a little bit, and refraction is 0, so that's okay. I'm okay with that. I might change the color to be a little bit more orange. That suits me fine. So it looks like that. So you can see in the viewport here, in the little sort of square view of what it might look like. So that's that. Now the fact that in the cube I have highlighted another, so I've got one cube here, I've got the second cube here, so I'm just going to pull that cube out so it's away from this. So I've got 1, 2 cubes and this deformed version. So now I'm just going to keep on adding a couple of more materials. So I'm just going to go here, and this one I'm going to change the color to something like green, And this one I'm going to make super shiny. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. So the reflection is high, roughness is low, so it's going to be super shiny. So I'm just going to grab that and drop it onto the cube number 2. Now to rename all these objects, which is a good idea, you can just basically double click and just add any name you like cube green, and you can change that to sphere underscore bronze, and I'm going to call this underscore black matte. Okay, and yeah, so, and I can change plain to plain underscore floor. Okay, so now I am gonna give color to all of these objects. So let me just highlight which one is this. So if I go to object, so now if you want to select an object, just make sure that you go to the object mode up here. Now when I click it, I select it. So any highlights it on the right hand side, so you can see it's orange highlight. It means that's the one I'm looking at. So I'm going to add another material, and let's go with something. Now I'm calling it black matte, so let's go black. Roughness high, reflection low, so it's not going to be super reflective, and reflection is fine. Refraction, now refraction is going to give you a little bit more of a glassy look, so we can add a little bit of refraction to this. So you can see now it's kind of like a bit of a dark glassy look there. So let's see what that looks like. So I'm just going to put that there, and that's how it looks like in the viewport. Now what I would like to do is also add a different texture to the floor. So I'm just going to go to the material, RS materials. So I'm just going to remove that one, and I'm going to add something like let's add paper, and that should be fine. So I'm just a white floor, so that will be the plane. Okay, great. Now how do I see this once it's rendered? How do I get the Redshift renderer working for me? Okay, the easiest way is just simply go to Redshift and render view, and there it is. Now to activate it, you need to hit the play button and you will start rendering, and there it is. Okay, so now holding Alt and left mouse button, you can move it around. You obviously cannot manipulate the view angle. That's because you have to do it over here. So if I click over here, I can start moving my view angle. Okay. And now how do I go ahead and add some lights? So let me go back to the main screen here. So I'm just going to minimize that one. To add lights, you go to Redshift, Lights, and you can add a area light, and it appears here, and you can see in the port it's right there where the arrows are. So I'm going to grab it, raise it, and I'm going to give it an angle. So I'm going to hit the rotate button, move the red line, and I'm also going to increase the size. There we go. So now it's there. So now if I go to the render view, Redshift, RS view render, there it is. So now you can see how much shine there is on those objects. To decrease the light intensity, I just highlight the light on the right hand side. Down the bottom, you're going to find this intensity attribute. I'm just going to drop it down to give me a bit of a shadow. There we go. And there you have it. Okay, so I've got this nice, very, very simple lighting mechanism. Just going to increase the light a bit, raise it up a bit. And now if I want to zoom in, I just basically highlight the viewport area, and I can zoom in around. Now if I don't, now what if I want to add a RS camera? It's very simple again. So let's go to Redshift. I go to objects, I go to cameras, sorry, standard, and now I've got an RS camera. Now I can change the viewport from the perspective view to the camera view. So now I can see RS camera has appeared here, which is the same here. So if I rename the camera word, I'm going to create this, I'm going to rename this to NK. That's my NK camera, and it should be updated here. So now I'm looking at this particular image through the lens of the camera. That means I can now change how the optics of the lenses work. So if I go to the right hand side, I can change the optics. Say I can adjust the EV. So make it dark, make it lighter, right? Let's go back to 0. Or I can go to filmic, and that means I can adjust now the ISO sensitivity, make it really, really lightweight. Or I can change now also the shutter speed. So make it, say 1000. It's going to be super dark, or 500, more like 100. That's better. So now I'm using the camera to manipulate what I'm seeing here in the render rather than the default perspective view of CINEMA4D. So if I switch over back to the perspective view, this is what the perspective view is giving me. If I go back to the camera, this is the camera view, what the camera view is giving me. Okay, so that's all, folks. I will see you later. Thank you for now. Bye.